Good morning, everyone. I'm Debbie from Bend, Breathe, Become, and today's session, short session, is going to be a lovely morning flow, Hatha flow practice. This practice could be done not just only in the morning, but throughout the day if you feel the need. Hopefully, this practice will influence your day in a positive way. Are we ready to get started? Let's go. So we're going to take our heads to the right side. Come into an extended child's pose. So we take our knees nice and wide, checking the level of the knees. Make sure they're level, and then the hips back towards the heels and extend the arms long. Tuck in the chin and just lay the forehead down on the floor. Now we're going to use this time to just connect with our breath. The flow of breath coming in through our nose and out through our nose. This breathing technique just allows us to ground and be in the moment. Feel the breath coming in and feel the breath just leave the body. Be aware of lifting up through your pelvic floor, lifting the navel towards the spine. And with every breath out, press your hips further back towards your heels. And just slow breaths in and out to start with. Tracking the breath all the way down to just the space below the chest and above the navel. This is our deep belly breathing. It helps us to calm and just rebalance, so our mind and body are connected for our practice ahead. And start to send the breath wide into your rib cage. And as you breathe in, you'll feel the ribs just gently caress the inner thighs. And then as you breathe out, just feel them leave. With every breath in, deepen that breath. Allow the rib cage to come wider, the back to expand when you breathe in, and the waist to narrow when you breathe out. It might feel nice to just turn the head, look under one arm, and back to center and look under the other. Just moving slowly and gently. Being mindful, if this is at the start of our day, that we just spend a little bit more time just connecting and allowing the body to just acclimatize and resting back in the center. Maintain that breath in the rib cage for 2 more breaths. And we maintain this breath through the rest of our practice. With our next breath in, we draw the hands in towards the knees and bring the knees in line with the hips. Big breath in, the arms come wide and high. And take a spinal twist to the front, facing me. Just look beyond that shoulder. Then we inhale, both arms all the way up, and take a twist to the back. Just mobilizing the spine, stretching through the tops of the feet. And then breathing in. Bring your hands all the way down the midline to Anjali Mudra, just at the center of the chest. Elbows nice and wide. And then lift up. Bring your knees together, tuck your toes under, and set your hips back, stretching the soles of your feet. So getting right into the plantar fascia here. Hands still at the heart center. Just dropping the shoulders down. And then breathing in, we're going to start with the front leg, so the leg closest to me. Lunge that foot between your hands and soften the hips down. Release the back foot and bring your hands either side of that front foot, checking that the ankle is directly underneath the knee. Just eye gaze to the floor and just move gently, maybe turning into the knee and then turning away from the knee. And again, turning in. Just do what feels nice, just nice and slowly, just wakening the body up. Going to do one more like this. And then we're coming into half Hanuman Asana. So we straighten out through that front leg, and then we square off our hips. Now we can lift up and bring the hand on the thigh. We want the toes pressing down to the floor so you can stretch into the top of the foot and the ankle. Hips are nice and level, so we create that balance. Drawing the kneecap up into the thigh. But if we can, we want to bring our fingertips down and press our chest down towards the thigh. Coming back into that low lunge, we drop the hip down. See if we've created a bit more space in the hip. We're stretching into the back psoas and down into the thigh. And then with our next breath in, lift the front arm all the way up in a lunge twist. So your back shoulder is coming towards your front knee and your front knee towards your back shoulder. We've got strength. Step it back into extended child's pose, big toes touch, hips all the way back. So we can just appreciate the stretch on that front side. Inhaling, slide the hands in. Take a big breath in, arms wide and high, hands to center of your chest. Your back leg lunges through. You soften the hips down and then bring the hands to the floor. And then just start to move into this stretch. So coming into the knee, twisting into the knee, and then twisting away. And again, 2 more. And 1. And back to center. Then extend through the back leg. So slide your hips back and decide if you're keeping your fingertips down on the floor. So whatever we do on one side, we do on the other. So we keep that balance through the body. Pressing the chest towards the thigh. Tucking the chin in and squaring off our hips. Soften the hip flares out to the side. So we want to just bring that back so it's level. Coming back into that lunge, dropping through. And then back arm lifts up. So front shoulder to back knee. And back knee to front shoulder. Then the hand comes down to the floor and we step it back into extended child's pose, hips away back. Floating into horse stance. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, belly lifts to support the back. Your front leg extends behind you and we press the heel away. So we get right into the Achilles and into the calf muscle. And right up the back of the leg. So this is a really good stretch to do to access that Achilles and to stretch the foot before we come into our down dogs. Sometimes we can't get the heels right down to the floor, and that's absolutely fine in downward facing dogs. This is a really good pre-stretch for that. Front knee comes down to the floor. We extend that back leg long, so tuck the toe, press the heel away. Make sure you're equally weighted between the hands and the knee. We push it back. Now we're going to come to a high plank. So we're going to take both legs back and hold. So try not to dip. Lift the buttocks up and then lift them higher as you press back into downward facing dog. So how do you know you've got the perfect down dog? If you float through And your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders, and you don't need to move your hands and feet. And then you press back into down dog. And that's the perfect positioning alignment for your body. So pressing into your dog here. Adho Mukha Shavasana. Belly lifts, hands press away from each other to activate the upper arms. And we're going to stay here in this nice gentle inversion for up to 3 more breaths if you can. If not, drop to your knees and press your hips back into extended child's pose, where we'll all be meeting anyway. Slide the shoulder blades down towards the hips. Keep the belly lifted, floating ribs lifted so we don't dump into the thoracic. And 1 more breath here. Breathing wide into the rib cage. Keeping the head low because we've been in an inversion. Knees down, hips all the way back. Just so we could regulate the blood pressure. And take a breath here. Inhaling, tuck the toes, lift the hips all the way up and back. Then float through into plank, drop to your knees. Hips go all the way back to your heels. Come into a rolling cat stretch, so wrists underneath your shoulders, open your upper back, and then chest comes between your arms into cow pose. We're going to do that 2 more times. Extend the arms. Tuck the toes. You can find your plank first and then come to down dog. Breathing out. Inhale, float to plank. Knees to floor. Hips go all the way back. So lengthen and neutralize. Rolling cat stretch on your exhale. And inhale, chest through. 1 more time. Arms out. Toes tuck. Hips lift. Breathe out. Breathe in, float through with control, knees down. Breathe. Breathe out. And breathe in. Good. Arms forward, tuck the toes, downward facing dog, tailbone high. Bending your knees, lunge your front foot, so the one closest to me, lunge it between your hands. And hold. Sweep your arms all the way up into a high lunge. Now bend your back knee towards the floor. Little pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wakening up the legs. Hands come forward and down. Step back to down dog. Now you can choose your vinyasa, so you can stick with what we've done. Rolling cat into cow, or you can float to plank. Drop to your knees as an option, toes back. Bend your elbows, half chaturanga, all the way, chin, chest, pubic bone. Roll your shoulders, stay low in your cobra. Firing up your back muscles. Hover the hands off the floor, lift the belly. Toes point back. Take your arms all the way around the back. Clasp hold. Steeple fingers. So index fingers press and reach back towards the heels. We're going to pulse it here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Breathe out. 2, 1. Hands come down, push up and back into downward facing. Bend the knees, back foot lunges through. Squeeze inner thighs, lift the arms all the way up. Bend your knee towards the floor and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 more. 2, 1. Hands come down. Step it back to down dog. Inhale, float through to plank. Maybe knees or maybe on your toes. Chaturanga, Dandasana. Roll your shoulders. Stay low. Reach the arms all the way back. Steeple fingers. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire in the back muscles up, elbows in, push up and back. Downward facing dog. And bend the knees, walk the feet to the hands, forward fold. Just tucking the chin to lengthen and release the lower back. Maybe taking your hands to your ankles or to your shins, to the side of your feet or in front, whatever feels comfortable. And then bend your knees. Roll up through your spine, Samasthiti, arms wide and high, palms touch above your head. Bring your hands all the way down to Anjali Mudra, relaxing your shoulders, palms forward as you release your arms into Tadasana. Now lift your toes, spread your toes nice and wide. Bring your toes down to the floor. Lift the kneecaps up, tuck the tailbone under, draw the tummy in. Roll the shoulders back and down, palms forward, chin draws back so we keep the neck in line with the spine and extend through the crown of the head. 2 more breaths here. Finding your center of gravity, grounding, being present in your day. Inhale, arms sweep up. Hands come down to the center of your chest. Bend your knees and take your front leg and step it back and open your arms into warrior 2. So we're checking heel in line with instep. And shoulders are stacked over your hips. Arms are out nice and long. Now if you're finding you're really tight in your hips, then you can move this foot so that your heel, your right heel, is in line with your toes. If your hips feel okay, try to aim heel to instep. And make sure this left foot is parallel with your mat. Holding your warrior 2. Inhale, let's reach over to side angle, elbow down, arm to ear, and tuck your chin and look under. Now, if you can drop this top hip down so your sit bone is in line with your knee. If you can, tucking in the chin. Bring your hands down either side of this right foot. Pick up the heel and step back to down dog. Inhale, float through to plank. Choose your vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. We're going to come through with an inhale, low or high cobra. Lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, walk the feet to the hands in your forward fold. And then roll up through your spine. Arms wide and high. Hands to Anjali Mudra and palms forward. Breathe in, arms all the way up. Hands all the way down. Soften the knees. Take your back leg and step it back into warrior 2. So stacking those hips. Big breath in. Go lower in the legs if you can. Squeeze the shoulder blades so you get that angle from the back. Squeeze and shoulder blades into spine. Inhale, reach over the thigh. Bring the elbow to the thigh and the arm to the ear, dropping that hip down. Bring the hands all the way down to the floor. Pick up the heel, stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhale, float through to plank. Exhale, chaturanga or your rolling cat. And then cow is your option or cobra as we push through, squeezing the buttocks, pushing the hips towards the top of your mat. And then press your hips back to extended child's pose.
Tucking your toes under, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, walk your feet to your hands, or bend your knees, look to your fingertips and hop up to forward fold. Hands to shins, flat back extend, lengthen. And then bend your knees and roll up through your spine. Arms wide and high, samasthiti, hands to the chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come into fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, fingertips, legs long. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. Front leg steps back into that lunge. Spin round to the front, heels in, toes out as you fold over. Tuck in the chin. Bend your knees, roll up through your spine. Take your arms wide and high. Cactus arms, bend the elbows and bend the knees as you drop into goddess. Lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, drop in, knees press back. Inhale, rise. Exhale, drop. Elbows to ribs. Inhale, lift. 2 more, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Well done. Hands to chest. Press out through this left foot and turn your right toes. Now have a look. Heel to heel placement. That should be in the same place from your wide squat. Take your arms out nice and wide. Then send the hip towards the heel, creating this length through your side body. Now you can just windmill the arms. Option 1 here in Trikonasana. Option 2, we bring the hand to the shin. Option 3, we bring it down to the ankle. And we open our chest. Now this gives us a lovely stretch across our chest and into our shoulder. You're reaching all the way up. Energize your legs by squeezing them into the midline. And then challenge your balance. If you look down, feels quite safe. If we look forward, we feel maybe a little bit wobbly. And then if we look up, we really challenge that core. So draw your core up and in, abdominals in. And then back, bend the knee, come to warrior 2. Left hand on thigh, right arm over. And then let's straighten out through that right leg and lean, reverse triangle, really opening our rib cage. Bring your arms back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands down. Let's change sides. So we close off through the right, open through the left. Check our heel to heel placement and take your arms out. Hip goes to heel as we reach. Where do we want level 1? Level 2, level 3. Keep the side body long so you soften through the left rib cage. Hold your Trikonasana. Now you're going to get a beautiful stretch, an immense stretch if you're doing this right. Kneecap lifts up right into that inner thigh and hamstring. Again, play around with your eye gaze. How does it feel? Energize the legs. And then bend the knee. Lift the arms all the way up to warrior 2. Inhale, reach over, elbow to thigh, arm to ear. Tuck the chin in, drop the hip, really feel the challenge in the legs as we fire them up. Then windmill your arms into a sun warrior, opening your chest. Hold it here. Feel that strength in your legs. And then straighten into reverse triangle. Open the arms back out. Take a big breath in and out. This time, turn your toes in, kick your heels out, and then bring your chest forward and down, hands to the floor. Tuck your chin in. Now you may get the crown of the head down on the floor, or you may be sitting where your arms are straight. Tailbone nice and high, so shine your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Keep those thighs active. Draw the kneecaps up into the thighs, so every muscle is working and switched on, and we are protecting our joints. Push into the hands, we lift up. Just look down, just regulate the blood pressure. Bring your heels in and your toes out, and just walk it in. And drop your hips down. Now we're going to add little pulses here, so the bottom lifts up and down. 8, 7, 6, strengthening the glutes. 5, 4, 3, and the hamstrings. 2, 1. Hold it here. Drop the hips if you can between the heels and bring the hands in Malasana to the center of your chest. Again, we can look down, we can look straight ahead. We can close our eyes to really challenge our balance. And just hold. Breathing all the way down into our hips. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down, lift those hips up. Turn your toes forward and fold over your legs, releasing the back, releasing your neck. And then roll up through your spine. Take your arms wide and high, and then bring your hands down to the center of your chest. Heel toe your feet together. And then lift up your right knee. Bring your right ankle on your left thigh as your right knee falls out to side. So you're rolling your thigh outwards. Right toes are pulling back towards the shin, so we keep the ankle and the knee nice and safe. If this is too much and you're feeling really wobbly, then bring your foot to floor so the ankles cross, but bend your standing knee. And then glide your hips back as you bring your chest forward and down, and see how far you can go. Keep bending your standing knee. So this gives us a really good glute stretch right into the buttocks, but it helps to open our hips too. And it's challenging on our balance. So we're building the strength in our standing ankle. Then push through the floor, rise all the way up, reaching your fingertips all the way up, arms by your ears. Release your arms wide and bring that right foot to floor. Come into Tadasana, just to reset for the other side. I soften the knees, pick up through the left, bring the ankle on the thigh and press the knee out gently to the side. Bend your standing knee, breathe and lift the arms, and track the hands down to the center of the chest. Breathe out, glide the hips back, eye gaze to floor to help your balance, and you might get the elbows resting on that leg. Keep the belly lifted and relax the shoulders. So relax the muscles you're not using. Then inhale, we rise all the way up, building the strength in the standing leg. Bring the foot down and open the arms.
Take a breath here. Maybe you'll notice your heart lifted, your heart rate beating a little bit faster in your chest. Then open your eyes. Bring your right foot down on the floor. So we can be option 1 here. Option 2, we're going to pick it up and extend out through the left arm for counterbalance. So you're going to take that knee out to the side without twisting your body and your hips. Keep your hips facing forward. So how we're going to do that is by tucking the tail and squeezing the buttocks so we've got the strength, and we hold it here. Now you can stay, or you can take peace fingers. So your right arm comes inside of your right thigh, peace fingers to big toe. And we might just draw the knee up to the shoulder and hold, squeezing it in. Or we might start to extend the leg, take it round to the side and hand to toe pose. Then breathing in, we lift that left arm all the way up to ear, tuck the tailbone under and lift the chest. Then start to bring the leg all the way round to the front again. Bend the knee and bring the foot to the floor and rebalance. Left side. Inhale, lift up. Take the right arm out. Take the knee out to the side and reach if you're coming with me. Now try and extend through the crown of your head. And then start to extend that leg as much as you can. Now the knee might be bent. And lift the arm all the way up. Tuck the tail. Don't forget to do that. And keep both legs as straight as you can. One more breath. We're nearly there. Oh. Bring the leg round. Bend the knee. And bring the foot down. Big breath in. And breath out, hands to chest, palms forward. Just take a breather. Take a forward fold. Tucking in your chin. Releasing the back. Tucking your right leg behind, come onto your sit bones and spin your legs round to the left side. So knees are bent, chest is lifted. And we bring the arms and clasp the hands. Relax the shoulders down. Lift the toes off the floor and then start to lean back with a straight spine. Breathe out and reach through between the legs. Breathe in to lengthen those abdominals and breathe out to contract those abdominals. Breathe in and breathe out. Now you need the adductors, inner thighs switched on. So what you can do is bring a block to your inner thighs. That's just really good focus work. So it makes sure the knees don't move or the thighs. Lean back. Well done. And you might notice that every time you do this, you might be able to go back further and really challenge those abdominals. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. And release. Cross one leg in front of the other and just fold elbows to floor. And then we lift up. Bend the knees again, feet to floor. And just relax your arms. So bring your arms out in front, about shoulder height. Now you're going to draw one knee into the chest and bring the foot down to the floor. Knee to chest, crunch in and release. Crunch in, so we switch it. Crunch in and release. Now what you might be able to do is extend that leg down. Crunch and extend.
So both legs are long. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. So really work those abdominals too. One more each side. And then full roll down to the floor. Take the arms overhead to stretch off the abdominals. Let your thighs roll out. And 2 more breaths here. Then hug the knees in towards the chest, keeping the tailbone down on the floor. Then bring the feet down hip distance apart. We're going to move into Setubarda Sarvangasana. So we want to tuck the tailbone under and draw the tummy in. And keep your floating ribs in line with your hip bones. Arms by your sides. Then lift your hips off the floor. Tuck the shoulder blades in. Now what's good focus work to do as well is to bring the block between the thighs. So you squeeze and keep the adductor switch on, which is part of the core. So as we lift up, tuck the shoulder blades in. Now you might be able to clasp the hands. Press the arms down into the floor. Reach the knuckles to the heels. Really firing up the back muscles. And stretching across the chest, the abdomen, which we've just worked, core, down into the hips, the thighs, around the knees. So we're stretching our front body. And then slowly unclasp the hands and bring the hips down. Counter pose, bring the knees into chest. Tuck the chin in. You can lift the head and shoulders off the floor to stretch the upper back and neck. And then bring the head back down again to the floor. Feet hip distance again. We're going to lift the hips all the way up, tucking the shoulder blades in. Palms are facing up. So get a nice open stretch across the chest. You can stay and work this strengthening pose, or you can draw the front knee in and extend the leg up. Bend the knee into chest and bring the foot to the floor, keeping the hips level as you land that foot, so don't drop the hip. Back knee comes in, leg extends up, knee bends, and foot comes down. And again, front knee in. Keep the hips up by squeezing the bottom. Knee and foot. One more, back leg. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Then bring your hands to your lower back and tuck the elbows in. Now you can stay in your hip bridge. You can bring your hips all the way down to the floor. You can draw your knees into your chest, or you can come with me into shoulder stand. So draw one knee in, activate the belly, then the other, and extend your legs up as you walk your hands up your back. Now chins away from chest. You're looking to not have your legs here because we're not firing into those abdominal muscles. So we want to try and take the legs so they're stacked, ankles, knees, hips. Zip your belly in and up towards your rib cage. And just point your toes to ceiling. And just hold. Breathing into the rib cage. So our shoulder stands great for our lymphatics. So that's the fluid within our body. So because the legs are higher than the heart, it's good for our circulation. And moving that lymph fluid around the body so it doesn't congregate in the ankles, the knees, hips. One more breath. Then we bend the knees. We're going to land one foot down if we can, and then the other. Bring the heels down to the floor And then slowly bring your hips down. Knees into chest. So our shoulders stand, really energizing, good for first thing in the morning. Help to lift our mood and make our day, as we said at the beginning, to influence our day in a positive way. So just taking time to just calm that breath back down. And then bringing the feet to floor. You're going to take your front leg, the one closest to me, and wrap it over your back thigh. So this helps to just close our hips off. Arms are nice and wide. And then come onto your back hip as you take your knees to the back. Keep both shoulder blades down on the floor, and you can turn the head and look to the front. Now this is a good stretch for your abductors, your outer hips, that attaches into your IT band that runs down the outer seam of your leg. So if you feel that you get tight in your outer hips and your glutes, this is a really good one to do. Making sure both shoulder blades stay down on the floor. And then we lift up, untangle the legs, flatten the back to the floor, and the back leg comes over the front leg. So your thighs are touching, your knees come forward, and your eye gaze goes back. Just close your eyes maybe and just breathe. And then untangle your legs. You can keep your knees bent. Heels would be wider than your hips and your knees come together and your arms by your sides. Or you can come into Shavasana. Legs are long. Just take your hands to your buttocks and just part them. Just close your eyes. Lift your upper back, tuck the shoulder blades in. Just relax the space between your eyebrows. And move the breath from your rib cage back to your upper belly again. Maybe bringing one hand here just to feel the rise and the fall. Rising when you breathe in, falling when you breathe out. Softening the muscles in the face, the jaw, the tongue. Creating space in the mouth. Maybe lifting that tongue to the upper palate of your mouth. Just widen the base of your throat. And taking the time to be thankful for our breath. We don't often take time to focus on how we breathe. So use this time to let the body and the breath become as one. Just appreciate how precious our breath is and how we often take it for granted. We don't need to think about it, it just is. 2 more deep belly breaths. And start to waken up through your toes, wriggling through your fingers and your toes. Just bringing your mind back away from your breath into your space on the floor. Might feel nice to extend the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, press the palms back, full body stretch. Move through the hips. Hug the knees into your chest. Take your knees to your right side, away from your heart, and roll up to a seated position, facing the front. Find your hand mudra, so it could either be hands to the center of the chest, Anjali mudra. You might take thumb and index finger and just hug the knee. You might have palms facing up or one hand on top of the other, thumbs connecting. Breathe up and down your spine, grounding through your sit bones, connecting to the earth. This especially connects us and a great way to start our day. Then we breathe in, lift the arms wide and high, palms touch above our head. We track the thumbs down to the space just between the eyebrows, our third eye, elbows come together. We breathe here. And then bowing forward, Namaste. Rise all the way up. Bring the hands down to the center of your chest to seal your practice. Another big breath in. And then open your eyes. Give yourself a big clap. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a wonderful day.